About 90 families from North and South Korea wept and embraced on Monday as the neighbors held their first reunion events in 3 years for relatives wrenched apart by the Korean War for more than 6 decades. The brief reunions are set to total just 11 hours over the next 3 days in the North's tourist resort of Mount Kumgang after the neighbors renewed exchanges this year, following a standoff over Pyongyang's nuclear and missile programs. According to Reuters, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in agreed to the reunion events at a summit in April. About 330 South Koreans from 89 families, many in wheelchairs, embraced 185 separated relatives from the North with tears, joy and disbelief. Some struggled to recognize family not glimpsed in more than 60 years. "How are you so old?" Kim Daling, 92, asked his sister, "You doc," after gazing at her briefly in silence. "I've lived this long to meet you," replied the 85-year-old, wiping away tears as she clasped a photograph of her brother in his youth. Siblings Kim Jae-sil, 72 and Jae-yong, 71, wearing the traditional hanbok dress, colored pale violet, stood nervously staring at the entrance, awaiting their 99-year-old mother Han Shin-ya. "They could not speak for minutes, wailed loudly and rubbed their cheeks and hands. When I fled home in the war," Han said, faltering as she choked with emotion and left her sentence incomplete. Also read, "How can polluted churches in Nigeria?" Reverend Oksijah. Separated families are victims of a decades-long political gridlock since the 1950-53 war ended in a truce rather than a peace treaty, with ties increasingly strained as Pyongyang rapidly stepped up its weapons programs. More than 57,000 South Korean survivors have registered for the family reunions, which usually end in painful farewells. For years, Seoul has called for regular meetings between separated families, including the use of video conferences, but the program often fell victim to fragile ties. At his historic June summit with United States President Donald Trump in June, Kim pledged to abandon his country's nuclear programs if Washington provided security guarantees, but the two sides have since struggled to agree how to reach that goal. The reunion should be scaled up sharply, held regularly, and include exchanges of visits and letters, said Moon, himself a member of a separated family from the northeastern port city of Hungnam. "It is a shame for both governments that many of the families have passed away without knowing whether the lost relatives were alive," he told presidential secretaries at a meeting. Expanding and accelerating family reunions is a top priority. 93 families from both sides of the border had been initially due to hold a 3-day gathering from Monday, but 4 South Korean members cancelled at the last minute because of poor health, the Red Cross said. From Thursday, 88 more groups of relatives will meet, comprised of 469 individuals from the south and 128 from the north, Seoul's unification ministry says. For Lee Jong-sik, 81, Monday's reunion was a hard-won second chance to track down his younger brother, Ri Chong-song, after the failure of a 2009 effort when a different individual showed up. To the dismay of the family from the south, "I tried so hard, too, searching for you for 7 years," Ri told his brother.